Well, this is the flight deck of HMS Illustrious. We're now steaming out into the channel. This is one of 9 Mark II Merlin helicopters taking part in exercise Deep Blue. Now, this is a 10-day anti-submarine warfare exercise. There are 4 submarines that will be out in the Atlantic being hunted by these Merlin helicopters. Their job is to try and penetrate this task group and essentially attack HMS Illustrious. The job of these Merlins is to find those submarines and kill them. And one of the people doing that job is Lieutenant Commander Steve Hayton. Just tell us a little bit about the new Mark II Merlin, how it differs from the old aircraft.
Okay, Merlin came into service about 2000, and it's recently gone through an upgrade. So Merlin Mark I has become Merlin Mark II. From the outside, pretty much the same sort of aircraft. It's the same airframe. The main differences have been the internals, the mission system, and the ASW capability, which has just been a building improvement on Mark I.
So you can locate submarines more easily, further afield,
yeah,
and with more precision than perhaps you used to be able to do.
Yeah, absolutely. We have the same sensors effectively. So we've got an active dipping sonar which we lower out the bottom of the aircraft, and it's a classic hunt for Red October type thing where we go ping, and it reflects off a submarine or off a whale or whatever, and that noise comes back to the aircraft. We can then interrogate it, decide whether it's a submarine, decide whether it's marine life or whatever, and then we can take the necessary tactics to try and attack it or to deter it or whatever. We also have passive sonar buoys which we drop from the aircraft, and they're completely autonomous then, and they just listen for noise in the water. And every submarine, every ship has got its own signature, and so we look for that signature, and we can then determine whether it's a submarine, and even all the way down to not just that it is a submarine or just the type of submarine, but actually the specific hull. So we can be that accurate.
And for you crews, this is a very intense exercise. You're up in the air for quite long periods, short periods of rest, and then you're back airborne again.
Yeah, we're trying a concept which is something that we haven't done for quite some time, is a ripple. So we have 9 aircraft on board, and at any one time 2 of those aircraft are always going to be airborne to provide protection to the carrier group. And the 3rd aircraft will then be on task to relieve one of the aircraft. It will come back and refuel, and so the process continues, and we can do that for up to, well, we're going to exercise it for up to about 5 days. So it'll be 24/7 for 5 days. You'll always have 2 aircraft airborne protecting the group.
And people might think that submarine warfare disappeared with the Cold War, but it's still a threat.
It's always a threat, and the classic idea of a submarine, that it's there to go and sink ships, is a little bit probably, World War II. Now submarines are more involved in intelligence gathering, in just being a nuisance, and so it's still very, very relevant. If you look at the proliferation now of submarines throughout the world, there are thousands of submarines out there, and they've all got, they all have a threat. Whether that just be we want to stop them gathering intelligence on us, or whether they actually do want to do us some harm. So it's a credible threat, and it's one that we have to be ready to be able to protect against.
And finally, you've been in the Navy, I think you told me, about 20 years
yeah,
or so.
24
to
years,
get some new kit to fly on, it's an exciting time to...
Yeah, incredible. I started off in Sea Kings, and Sea King was an ASW aircraft. You'd sit there, there'd be oil dripping on you, it was noisy, it was vibrating. Now we've got I started in Merlin, and that was a very comfortable aircraft to fly in. This is now flying like flying in an office. The aircraft's very smooth, it's very fast, it's massively capable, and it doesn't drip oil.
Lieutenant Commander, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you very much.
Well, as I said, the exercise Deep Blue lasts for about 10 days. Illustrious will be sailing out into the Bay of Biscay starting this evening. This is Simon Newton for Forces TV on HMS Illustrious.